that's mother and son team. You will get better acquainted with them. He has been helping her on the newsletter this last year, and now that he's old enough to be a full voting member himself as a 16-year-old, he is our newsletter editor, and she is a board member at large in our social media chair. So watch for them both to be back. We're really sorry Javier is unable to make this meeting tonight, but he will be active in the coming year. And in fact, now that we have that, I will call on our new City Council member, Kent Lee, to come to the And I think now that I've introduced all the board members, those of you who aren't already sitting up here, come and stand up, because we need to have Kent officiate to swear us in for another year of service.
I get the honor of swearing in the 2023 Mira Mesa Town Council Board of Directors. And so it'll be short and simple, I think, but I'll have you each raise your right hand and repeat after me. If you could say I, state your name 1 at a time.
I, Stan Stevens.
Hereby affirm
that
I will faithfully execute the duties of my office as a duly elected member of the Mira Mesa Town Council Board of Directors to work to improve the Mira Mesa community. Congratulations.
Thank you. And may I ask for an after the fact one right here on my camera, if somebody would take a more posed version, and that's your standard iPhones. We get all of us in here together with Kent here. Let's see.
And move down to that side.
Yes, right, this side. Thank you. Right. Okay. So are we all cozy here?
All right. All three of us here. 1, 2, 3, and 3. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, and now it's Kent's turn to take it away and tell us about the 6th district and being our new council member.
Well, good evening, everyone. And so it is a little surreal, because I feel like for me it's been a couple of years having been back meeting in this room, especially since sort of COVID, and now being on the sort of other side of the table. So just for those of you who may not know me, I am the newly elected council member for the 6th district, which does cover Mira Mesa, most of University City, some strange non-contiguous portions of Swiss Ranch, as Mark and I were just chatting about, and then the Mira Mesa convoy communities. And so it's been just about a month, and this is actually almost strange for me, because before this I was a member of the community, a longtime Mira Mesa resident. My wife and I have been here for the last 16 years. I was serving on the Mira Mesa Community Planning Group for the last nearly decade, with Jeff Tam and many others. It helped to start things like the DC Night Market, and now get to serve in a different capacity. So I wrote some notes because I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, but just wanted to maybe share a little bit about background and then some of the stuff that we've got working coming up. And so we've actually just been approaching our 1-month mark being in office just later this week. And some of the top priorities that we've identified are really the same as what we talked about the last 2 years on the campaign trail. And it's the biggest things that are impacting San Diego today. And so the first really is homelessness. I think if you call into almost any council meeting, if you see any of the discussions that were taking place, a lot of our discussion, if it's not directly about it, there is some sort of connection to how we're addressing homelessness across the city. A big piece of that is just understanding that in San Diego, the biggest thing that we are missing and continue to be missing is affordable and even middle-income housing that allows people to actually have a roof over their heads here in San Diego. And so a big part of our focus is going to be looking at how we can actually deliver not just housing, but specifically housing within those categories. Something that I think is really important, especially for our Mira Mesa community, is actually infrastructure. And this is not just potholes, which I know, thanks to the rain, there are a lot more of them. And so we've been encouraging people to make sure to actually, if you don't know the Get It Done app already, to get on and submit potholes. I bumped into a pothole last week, not in this district, but in a neighboring district, and had to replace the tire. It was the 4th time in the city. So I know exactly how you all might feel in terms of how difficult it has been to get a city that that keeps up with the lack of infrastructure. But it also covers things like our park facilities. I think many of you know Mira Mesa has some of the, as an older community in San Diego, has actually some of the oldest parks and other facilities that are in need of update. And so that's something that we're interested in focusing on as well. And then even transportation. And a big theme in all of that is trying to figure out how we get resources delivered back into our community. I think when you go down to City Hall, a lot of the conversations that you hear from folks tend to have geographical differences. They talk about investment north and south of the 8, which is something I am not a fan of. I'm a big believer that we need to think not just in terms of geographical boundaries, but how do we actually get resources back into our communities. Looks different. Every single community has areas that need investment. Another big update would be committees, and so the City Council is actually broken up into a series of committees. There are 9 of them that council members serve on. We're, I think, fortunate to be able to serve on 5 of them at the moment, so we're going to be chairing the committee that deals with active transportation and infrastructure, which is very important because that is what determines capital improvement, projects and how we prioritize those. It's a lot about the infrastructure and transit that's needed within communities, and that's been a big part of the discussion, especially with the plan update here in Mira Mesa. We're also serving on our budget committee, our land use and housing committee, economic development, intergovernmental relations, and the rules committee, which is a lot. So as you can tell, we are in this first month trying to get a team up and running to make sure that we're able to tackle all of these things and a lot more. Maybe 2 of the big things that I will focus on just early on in trying to really figure out, tie in a bit to our plan update that's coming up or that's already been passed by the city, and that's that if we're going to have any bit of growth that we anticipate within Mira Mesa over the next couple of decades, we have to figure out how to get the infrastructure to actually support it. One of the biggest pieces of infrastructure that's outlined in the plan is specifically completing Carroll Canyon Road. If any of you know it, just from where the 3 Routes project is currently, but going out west towards the 805, because the long-term vision is to have that completed from the 805 all the way to the 15, which would be just one way of alleviating the potential congestion that we're anticipating, that we already have in Mira Mesa. And so that stretch on the western end, Councilmember Kate, as he was departing, I think got the city to do a study, and they're anticipating that is something like $50 to $60 million to complete that stretch. So it is not a project the city would just go out and do on their own. It means that we're going to have to figure out how we get funding from the state and federal levels to support it, and that's going to be a big part of our mission, especially since there has been funding that's been designated for transportation, climate issues, etc. Another big thing is actually our park right here. So the community park has been slated for its 2nd phase for the last, I don't know how many decades at this point, in terms of the pool, skate park, etc. I know one of the big items that Councilmember Kate mentioned on his way out was if we could find any way to, 1, expedite completion of that 2nd phase, but to get the city to also, ideally, combine the 3rd phase in with it as well, and see if we could try to get both done, which means we need to figure out how to get that capital improvement funding from the city. So that's something that's just on our mind, and we want to be ready to focus on that early. I did want to introduce, because you'll see on that, most of our meetings moving forward, but our community representative from Mira Mesa is Dustin Moon. And so he'll introduce himself, I think, later tonight during the reports, but you'll see him moving forward, and he'll be able to help answer any questions. And a lot of times I'm sure we won't have the answers, and the thing is whether we can get those answers from city staff and be able to report back to you and others in the community to see what things are happening. So Dustin's got a long history in the community. He still serves in the Armed Reserves. He used to be stationed out here in Vermont as well. So I think he's going to serve the community well. So, if you have any questions, I was just going to note that our email is now live. It is just kentlee@sandiego.gov. And then if you're curious, the phone number, and I'll just leave it with Jeff, is 619-236-6616. And we've gotten plenty of calls already. Everything from potholes to sidewalks to more. So we're happy to figure out how we can help and address every issue. So. Thank you.
Wrap off the different committees that you're involved with. I got that The title of the one that your office is chairing is the Active Transportation and Infrastructure.
Active transportation and infrastructure.
Okay, and what were the others you're serving?
They were budget,
Budget.
which is important because I think everyone knows the way anything gets done in the city is that there's finance for it. So budget determines all those priorities. Economic development.
Economic development's a separate committee or?
Yes,
part of
separate.
it? Economic development.
Land use and housing.
Land use
And rules.
and rules. Okay.
Good list of committees.
It is a lot. We didn't ask for 5, so we've got a lot to work on.
That is a lot. Transportation is very important, and for this area, that's a good one.
We're excited about it because we know how much of it is missing. So.
Are there any other questions for Kent? We can take a few right now.
Yeah, I have one. I live on Gold Coast Drive.
Yes.
I know that Mr. Kate was very adamant about getting that done.
Yes.
What's your position on this? Are we just gonna let it go to the side and forget about it, or?
No, so I haven't checked up on what the status of it is, but back in November is when the city officially started the project of reconstructing all of Gold Coast Drive from basically Parkdale all the way down to Thanksgiving, I believe. And so there was a $13 million project that Councilmember Kate actually got approved 2 budget cycles ago. But it was started last year, right at the tail end of last year, and it's supposed to be anticipated to be done at the end of this year, which is a full, not just a repaving, it's a full reconstruction of the street. So,
It's in process right now. If you look on the town council website, we do have the design plans and the schedule, so you can look there for the details, but it should be done this year.
Yeah, because I thought that they had set aside or had gotten like $30 million to do this.
12 million.
Was it 12 million?
And it did go up a little bit.
12, 13, yeah.
Might gone up to 15.
Which in that year, just to give people perspective, and this is maybe not great news necessarily, but the city's budget for capital projects for streets that year was $50 million total, the whole entire city. And so Gold Coast Drive was, as much as it's been needed, also 1/4 of what the city was spending that year on its road. So it's a long, long time coming. We can get you an update next month.
That sounds good. I think we'll probably be interested in an update on that ongoing
Yes.
until it's done.
Right.
So, thank you.
I have one question. So you referred to the community park phase 2 and 3. The field house used to be phase 3 and everything else was in phase 2. How are you partitioning that? What do you mean by phase 2 and phase 3?
Ooh, I wasn't even thinking about how to partition. I think the goal was if we could get as much lumped together as possible.
Yeah, I think we're hoping to get everything we see done at community park then. So that would
Right.
include the pool, which is kind of called phase 2.
Right.
And then there's things like the skate park, which are also supposed to be in phase 2. It could be the city's.
No, I think that was still in the phase 2 plan.
Okay.
And so if it was just the field house, I think what Councilmember Kate mentioned on the way out was just that phase 3 had a fairly small amount to it compared to phase 2. And so the idea was that we could try to get the city to move, otherwise it would take another, I don't even know.
We moved the rec center that was going to be built at the community park. We moved down to Three Roots Park because there's a place for it. So if that's what you meet by phase 3, that would be terrific.
That'd be nice. I don't think so though, depending on the timing of the routes, but I'll have to check and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you. This will see me on occasion, obviously in the community, so.
We are looking forward
Nice to
to
see you on
it.
the other side.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, moving right along, I don't see any first responders here, so we'll go ahead. We need to approve the minutes from the December meeting. Thank you for reminding me. The minutes have been posted on the website, and I will entertain a motion that those minutes be approved. So moved by Brenda Bowman, and do we require seconds on those?
Well, if there are no objections, we can just accept them.
If there are no objections, hearing no objections, we'll accept the minutes as they are posted. Okay, so then we will go ahead with our government and community resources reports. And the first item on the list is Mira Mesa Community Planning Group, Jeff Stevens.
Okay, well, I have a number of things to report. First one, as Kent mentioned, the city did approve the Mira Mesa Community Plan update. The planning group had made 13 specific recommendations to correct deficiencies in the community plan. The city didn't do any of them, they just approved the plan exactly as it was, so that does leave us with a problem. It means that the city has approved up to 24,000 new units, an increase in the population of more than 50,000 people, without providing the infrastructure that's needed for that population. So the plan does mention the infrastructure that needed, at least some of it, but there's no funding for it. So we have a problem there. So Kent, obviously, as he just told us, is working on that, but it's going to be, it would have been a lot better if they had taken care of this at the outset when they approved the plan, rather than leaving us to figure out things over the next 30 or 40 years. But that's what we're going to have to do. Second thing, in the November meeting, we reviewed and approved the Lazy Dog restaurant, which is going to replace Mimi's. We also had a presentation on the feasibility study for the Carroll Canyon Road extension, and also mentioned that. It's now estimated to cost more than $50 million, much higher than we thought it would be a short time ago. But the city's done a good job on the feasibility study. They come up with an actual design board, actually 2 designs that the city can choose from. So all we need is the money for that, and hopefully there will be some state or federal money that can be applied to that project. In January, one of the main things on the agenda is the Longfellow Industrial Project on West Boulevard. That has 4 large, 10 to 12 story buildings with 2 large parking structures, 10-story parking structures adjacent to it. And that's concerned some of the residents who are near it just because of the large scale of that project. But because it's consistent with the zoning of the community plan, the city is handling that as a largely an administrative item. So they're not, it doesn't require a city council vote to approve that. But they're coming to the planning group to tell us what they're going to be doing. And finally, this is important, we have planning group elections in March. We have a number of people who are termed out, so we have several vacancies on the planning group. So I'm encouraging people to apply. If you're interested, you need to have attended 2 meetings out of the last 12 prior to March. So if you haven't been at any meetings yet, you have to attend the meetings on January 19th and February 23rd. So I would encourage everyone here to do that and apply for a position on the group. So that's my report.
Okay, and I'll add, for anyone who's not plugged into planning group cycle, normally it meets the 3rd Monday of the month, but because the 3rd Monday in January is Martin Luther King Day, and the 3rd Monday in February is President's Day, it meets on the Thursday after those Monday dates. So that's,
right.
Those dates are on a Thursday in January and in February. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, where are the meetings at?
They are currently meeting on Zoom still.
Oh, you're
So-
still doing Zoom.
Right?
Yeah,
Is there a particular reason why you're doing Zoom?
I actually like doing the meetings on Zoom. It's easier for people to attend the meetings. We actually get more participation in that way. But if we do move back to in-person meetings, it'll be here in this room.
Okay. And you're the chair of the planning group, but the January meeting is going to be chaired by whom?
Craig Johnson, vice chair, will be chairing that meeting since I will be way out of town. Brenda?
Jeff, is it true that in the new approved plan for Mira Mesa, that the city is talking about gondolas?
There is that's not the term they use for it.
Skywalk, did they call it?
Skywalk, right.
Skywalk, whatever you want to call
Skywalk.
it.
So there's a proposal for a skyway that will go, possibly from Mira Mesa Boulevard and Community Louise all the way to the transit station at University City. So,
It's a good idea.
they think that's a better way to get
I agree.
people along that route. I mean, it is difficult getting traffic in and out of this community, so that's one way to alleviate it a little bit. Whether it ever gets built or not remains to be seen, but yes, it is in the plan.
So what does that look like?
Well, it's not really designed yet. If you've been to Portland, Oregon has a tram that goes,
Oh, it's just an elevated tram?
yeah.
Oh, okay, like the BART up in San Francisco.
Well, not exactly. A closer analogy is the,
Palm Springs tram that goes up to the mountain, right?
yeah,
That sort
or
of thing.
even, it's a larger version of the what do they call it? The Skyway, the zoo.
Oh, but that's gondolas. What in the hell were they thinking?
What's Miramar said about it?
Not that high.
Doesn't affect Miramar.
Yeah.
It's not that high.
Not that high.
It just goes along above Mira Mesa Boulevard up to the west.
But, yeah, it's one of the more easy to talk about and speculate about aspects of the plan. And,
Read the plan, you'll see what they,
This came out of the city.
they're looking for ways to get people around. The traffic is bad, the streets are going to be, traffic's going to get worse. They've done things to make buses work better, but that comes at the expense of the traffic. They're actually going to be removing a lane on Mira Mesa Boulevard for cars and replacing it with a bus lane.
What is all this scheduled in their plan?
There's no schedule.
there's no schedule. That's one of the big problems.
That was
with the
one of
plan.
the problems we had with it, is that there's no funding, no schedule for any of this. It's all to be figured out.
Okay, we're looking at 2050.
Easily.
That's good. Way beyond my time.
So, thank you, Brenda. Okay, well, moving along to the Mira Mesa Community Recreation Group, we've been talking about parks a bit. Joe Fritchell.
Yes, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is Wagenheim and Sauk projects are both going forward. The bad news is it's raining and they've all been postponed. So, I mean, we need the rain. If they would have done the parks last year when they should have, they'd be done because there was no rain. This year it's really hurting, so.
Which projects, Joe?
The Wagenheim and the Sauk.
And the Salt Project.
And the bad news is, we are gonna do the fireworks at Wagenheim, and that may not be done in time now because of the rain, so, we'll see what happens. We are having our meeting tomorrow night at 7 at Lopez Ridge in person. Please bring your own drinks.
Joe, I will add that as neighbors of the Salt Project, they have battened it down well for the rain. When we took a walk yesterday, it looked like they were working on that. But that's another ongoing thing that the council office can help us make sure it really happens on time. So we will be looking for that.
Yes, Brenda.
Brenda.
I have a friend who lives on the very south end of Parkdale, and he walks every morning, and he says he's discovered a trail down into the canyon. Is that
There
true?
is a path that is part of the Three Roots project. They built that for us, and they were planning a grand opening. I don't think they've had their grand opening yet. It's been, but it's been unofficially opened, and we need to double check whether it's been unofficially opened by them or by
It has been open
others.
for
Yeah, I think he was just curious why it wasn't announced.
A soft opening, yeah.
The community doesn't,
When we knew what they were going to do it, we just didn't know when they were going to open it.
Okay, but it's them, not us. Not the community did it, the Three Roots.
Yes.
Three Roots did it. That's been provided by Three Roots, and
Okay.
I would expect there will be an official announcement soon. It may just be that things, that got delayed, so, yeah.
The big controversy there is the Three Roots people think they're located in Sorrento Valley. They don't
Yeah, I
know that
know.
they're actually in Mira Mesa. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Low life people out here.
Yes.
My friend also said he heard that there's a park named after Jeff Stevens and 2 other people.
No, it's Bruce Brown.
I mean,
No,
oh,
There's
True.
a monument there at the
The
end of the trail
overlook.
that has her name.
I'm
from.
sorry.
There is a monument at the top of that trail you were talking about.
Oh, at that trail.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
yeah,
It's
that's it.
a little sign, and it does have those 3 names on it.
Oh, okay, he couldn't remember, so I was just
Yeah.
kicking off
And-
names.
and thanks Jeff Stevens, Ted Bringle, and Bruce Brown.
Okay.
For being involved.
And they didn't do that the way we wanted them to anyway, so. But they did put some names on it who we really appreciate.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay, thank
Kelly.
you.
Okay, moving along, is Wes Lundberg from Miramar College here tonight? Okay, then we will move on to the Mira Mesa Branch Library, and Ida is here tonight, so
I
please
am.
share with
Well,
us.
just barely. Good evening. I have put information about a winter reading challenge that's ongoing now. It goes through the entire month of January. All ages are welcome to read 5 books. They get some great prizes, so I'd encourage all of you to get on the library website, sign up. You're probably reading 5 books this month anyway, or anything else that you're reading. You can also read for 5 hours. I mean, I do that with emails. So there's information on that. There's also our entire monthly calendar for January. I'd encourage you to take pictures, but as always, the online calendar can be found again on the library website. And you can also check out postings on our Facebook page. All programs here are free, and most of them require no reservation, and when they do need reservation, it is well noted. We have 3 different story times that occur at the library. One every Tuesday at 3 to 3:30. That's for early elementary age group kids and their families. Every Wednesday morning, preschool mainly, but any ages are welcome. And the second and Thursday, we have a specialized Mandarin language story time. That's on the second and fourth Thursdays in the morning at 10:30. I'm pleased to announce that we have the return of our English language conversation practice class. It is no longer called Conversation Cafe because it no longer takes place at lunchtime. It is moving to Tuesday evenings. It begins again on January 17th from 6:30 to 7:30. It's a drop-in, really casual conversation class, especially for English language learners. But anyone who wants to meet new people and make new friends is welcome. As always, we have a chess club every Thursday from 3 to 5. That's again for all ages. If you play chess, come on down. If you want to learn to play chess, we have some instruction available. If you have kids or grandkids visiting, bring them down. Excuse me, I've been talking a lot today. Just a reminder, next Monday the 16th, we are closed for Martin Luther King Day. But then we have 2 big events happening. One on the 20th, which I think is a Friday, January 20th. We have a lion dance troupe that's coming. You may remember them from our 25th anniversary for any of you who were here. It's wonderful and colorful and athletic, and it's amazing. That is in celebration of Lunar New Year, and I think that's from 3:30 to 4. We also have a family career exploration workshop. If you're looking for a job, if you want some resources for family members to get jobs, they have resources specifically designed for teens. They have workshops available for all kinds of resumes, etc., And if you're interested in preparing your kids for that job market, they also have some resources and support for that. The most exciting thing is our Ideal Lab, which is a makerspace, is this close to opening. We've been working with the city, who have been struggling to provide facility support and electricians, but we have just about the equipment in, because we also run into a supply chain. We'll have 2 3D maker bots, we'll have some computers, we'll have a sewing machine for those of you who may want to do some old school making. We have a cameo silhouette, and we have a glow forge laser cutter. And they're all great fun. We are just finishing up getting some training done. And look for an announcement in early February. We are going to have a big open house to introduce all of this. So if you're curious, you can come on by, stop in, have some refreshments outside the lab, and then step into the lab to see what all of this is about and how it might work for you. Meanwhile, we have an interactive exhibit on nanotechnology from the fleet. So if you don't want to go down to the Fleet Science Center, and you don't want to drag your kids or grandkids down there, we have this exhibit here. It's closer. It's interactive, and it talks about nanotechnology, what it is, what it means to our lives, and it will wet your whistle for some technology that will happen when we open our lab. Are there any questions? Yes.
You walk across where the handicap ramp is out there, across the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any chance they could put like a crosswalk through there? Because I come up here quite a bit, and I bought my grandson years ago, but when I came across, I'm about halfway out, they don't stop.
I know.
And I've asked that years ago if they'd do something about that. The head library, I forget what her name was. It's gone nowhere.
It is a problem, and I wouldn't mind some help on that, at least, put me in the right direction. Please. Thank you.
I know, it's a safety factor.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is, and, we have a lot of people that go slowly across the streets.
White lines or yellow lines out there. Slow down.
Yeah.
Those signs slow down.
Yeah, one time I was told it because it's private property.
Is that private property?
It's not like a public throughway. Technically, I guess it's city property,
Yeah.
but I don't know what, thank you.
I think we can get the specifics and then file it down, so then we can do some more research on that, whether it is, like you mentioned,
Yeah,
confusion.
I know right what he's talking about, so anytime that you want to call, take some pictures. Or email me, and I'll take some pictures and point me in the right direction. Because it is an ongoing problem. All right, any other questions?
Nanotechnology exhibit sounds cool. When will you say that will be open?
It has been installed. It is currently outside the lab. You can't miss it because it's 2 giant panels and some other things. And it will be here through the end of February.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Enjoy the rest of your
Thank you very
meeting.
much.
Thank
I'm
you all
glad
for
that
coming.
Okay. We'll make sure we'll batten things down once you left. I'm glad we got you in before library closes.
Yes.
Staff goes home. There's one other item I didn't put on the agenda, but I do have a report on behalf of Michael Spencer of Scripps Mesa Fireworks. He can't be here tonight, but he did want to update everyone. He emailed me saying that Scripps Mesa Fireworks has opened a dialogue between the city and Pyro Spectaculars. That's the company that group has worked with to put on fireworks shows in the past, identifying what the necessary laydown is for the show. We will still need buy-in from the school, which means not just Wagenheim, Walker, and school district overall, buy-in from the school as well. Pyro Spectaculars has said that they have had a significant decrease in technicians, and we would likely need to lock in sooner rather than later. That's Michael saying this, will be getting that portion sorted out, hopefully starting next week. If we are a go with the site operators, we would most definitely need donations/sponsorships to stream in, or we may not be able to cover the show. So that's the update, he'll be reporting back to us further, so that's what's going on. In fact, that's actually a nice close to that section because we are now moving on to elected officials. And we have a chance to have Dustin Wynn from Kent Lee's office come up and say a few words in his own right.
Well, thank you, Councilmember, for already giving the plan story from Mira Mesa. I think in lieu of that, I'll just give a really quick introduction. So I'm Dustin Wynn. I was really excited to be here. I'm from San Diego, born and raised, and I have a family in Mira Mesa. Spent a lot of my summers and my youth here, so just really honored and excited to work for the same community that I've always adored so much. To echo what Joe said about the rain, and also what the council members said, naturally with the rain and the heavy rain season, the streets are very sensitive to damage with the rain, and as we mentioned, just to keep alert of that, awareness of that. If there are these potholes and these damages, just keep following on, getting it done so that we can learn how to prioritize different roads in the city. And then secondly, today the city is starting to inform the community and residents about the new organic waste recycling program, colloquially known as the green bins. So the green bins next to your usual black and blue ones. We've sent these flyers to the board if you'd like to disseminate that as well, but I also have some physical ones I'll leave behind if you'd like to learn more about it. So today is the first day that the city is informing about that. The plan is going to change throughout the next couple months as they're rolling it out, and the rollout is going to continue to take months. I think tentatively they're working on doing it by your trash pickup day, so people who get trash picked on Wednesdays will be the first to get green bins, and then Thursdays, the next couple of months, we'll have those new bins, and then Fridays, more bins throughout the next couple of months. But the city is also, and the council, is also inviting residents to attend informational sessions throughout the next month to learn more about it as more information is being put out. And I'll leave this behind here, but some of them are on Zoom, some of them are in person. And yeah, it's a great new program that we'll all learn how to use. And if you've probably heard of it before, some other cities have done it. It's the compost that you usually put down, your sink, where you either save for your backyard, but now there's an actual systemic way to recycle and compost materials. Yeah. Any questions? Yes.
Quick question. Are those webinar seminars going to be for individuals and businesses, or just for residential?
For now, it's just the residents who are receiving the waste hauling services. I guess that's what it will apply to. But the ones that don't, I think it's that program.
Thank you.
Spread that.
So the city doesn't want us using garbage disposals? Or is this for like banana peels and things that you can't put in the garbage disposal?
Exactly. So personally, I used to work in real estate a bit, and there's actually a lot of misconceptions about what you put down the garbage disposal, and that actually damages the drainage, like ground coffee, for example, you're not supposed to, but I know everybody does.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, from the developer side and from the manager side, it's really bad for the system. So I think that's kind of a way to fill in that gap, right? Things that you can't put down, things that you're also not supposed to be putting down, you can compost it instead.
Okay.
Yes. Alex.
Hey, well, I've got to wrap this off the record. How's the enforcement going to work? I know it's brand new. I know that it's going to be education. Again, it's mostly just going to be an education campaign, but when the push comes to shove, how's it going to be enforced?
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask as they continue to roll it out. Again, today they're just announcing that it's starting, and I already know from the rhetoric that the plans are going to change as time goes on, and they're going to adapt to it. So I think that's a great question to ask, actually, especially the department that's opening the invitation.
I think the simple answer to that is that there's not an enforcement plan. I mean, it's much like recycling at the moment. I mean, the city encourages residents to utilize recycling as best as they can, but I think we all know not everyone utilizes it correctly often, which is where the education goes in place. This is really a result of state law. So so state law was passed over a year ago, requiring that every city and municipality introduce composting as a program. So it's just to try to divert food waste. The more people use it, it'll get it away from just going straight to the landfill.
Yeah, because I know the state will impose fines on cities who don't meet certain goals. I believe it's like 55% of the things. So I just wondering what's the enforcement by the city, because the city will eventually pay it. No, the residents don't actually go through the composting.
That composting makes electricity. They're taking the methane from that composting and turning it into electricity. So there's your hook. It's going to lower the cost of a lot of the city things. The landfill is run off that composting methane. Yep.
What if we already compost in our backyard?
Fine. No.
Okay.
I think very similar to what the councilman was saying. If you recycle on your own, it's not. You don't have to use that bins, but it's there for you. And it's the same way.
If it reduces our electricity, then I'll be happy to give it.
Yeah.
I'll only add is one of these things. You have your dirty pizza box that it's not recyclable, but
Yeah, right.
this is the opportunity that can be
Yeah.
compostable.
Right.
So some of your paper products that are greasy or food contaminated now can be not just thrown into the dump.
Exactly. To echo off of that, you can buy these compostable paper plates, and you just go on the wall and the primary. That's what it means.
Okay, well, thanks for the update on that. Anything else?
No, no, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, next we have, let's see, San Diego Unified School Board member, Sabrina Baza.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see you. Happy New Year to everyone. I also want to say congratulations to Kent Lee for joining us and the elected officials around it. I'm very happy to have him as a part of the team now, the Mira Mesa team. I know many of you guys I know, but just to introduce myself to those of you I don't know, Sabrina Baza, San Diego Unified School District. I represent District A. There's 5 sub-districts in San Diego Unified School District. We are the second largest school district in the state behind that Los Angeles, so quite large. We had some redistricting. This was with the census, which I didn't realize myself that was going to affect school districts, but guess what, it does. So there were some boundary changes. I did represent University City, so I do not anymore. That's going to be Cody Patterson, who took over District C. He was just sworn in recently. So, but I am taking on Scripps Ranch. So I will now have Mira Mesa area, Madison, and Claremont, basically the Claremont communities, Kearney cluster, and Scripps Ranch. So I have 5 areas. So I'm excited. It's a lot of area, but I'm up to the challenge. So, but I am a Mira Mesa. I didn't grow up in Mira Mesa, but I brought my kids up in Mira Mesa, and I've been a very active parent. That's how I kind of got into this position. So, Mira Mesa is close to my heart, and so I wanted to share that I've been a Mira Mesa resident for many, many years, and very proud of that. So I wanted to just start by sharing a few local things. I was out at Mason Elementary this morning. I got a little friendship bracelet from some of the kids there. And that's always the fun part of the job, right? Going out to see the students. That's one of my goals. I try to get out to as many schools as I can. Obviously there are a lot of schools out there, but I really, really try to get out to as many as I can. So if you know of any events going on at schools, or want a school board representative to attend, I mean, of course, graduations and that, I try to get to those as well. But other things going on, job funds, anything else, I try to get out, and I love doing that. That's the easy part of the job. Also wanted to share that Mira Mesa, as I think a lot of you know, we have very strong community schools in our area. In fact, we have some of the strongest community schools in the entire district. We're actually seeing a model for San Diego Unified. Community schools just means that students in your community actually go to your schools. Surprisingly, maybe not, there's a lot of areas of San Diego that sadly the parents don't feel comfortable sending their kids to school in their neighborhoods. So a lot of those kids are going to charter schools or, being choiced into other areas of the city. But at Mira Mesa, we have a very high percentage of students. I want to say, don't quote me, around an 80% rate, 90% rate of students that actually live in Mira Mesa that actually go to school in Mira Mesa. So they actually look at that to see how we're doing so well in Mira Mesa to try to model that to other parts of the city. So that's a big goal right now is community schools, and Governor Newsom's actually putting a lot of funding into that. Another thing that's come up a lot in the media is enrollment, school enrollment. Again, there are a lot of schools that are decreasing enrollment, and there's a lot of reasons why that's the case. San Diego being expensive, young people or young families moving out. Mira Mesa, actually, their enrollment is kept very, a lot of my district, Scripps Ranch, Claremont, all of those areas, we have gotten really good enrollment. It's not the same, it's actually increased. So we're really happy to see that. One of the reasons for that is we have a new UTK program. How many of you are familiar with what that means? Probably not very many. It's called, Universal Transitional Kindergarten. So basically we're bringing in students to school. A lot of students, they want to have them prepared a little bit more for kindergarten. A lot of these kids are just enrolled either in kindergarten or first grade, actually. They don't even have to go to kindergarten legally. So there's a lot of funding going in from the state level to bring in students at ages 3 to 4 into what is called the UTK program. And we're having, again, great success with that. So Mira Mesa has a ton, there's several UTK classes at each of the schools. In fact, I think Sandburg Elementary itself has some of the highest in the district. Lindsay, the principal over there, was telling me they have 4 classes. But it's a fantastic way to introduce those students, start getting them ready for school, and the parents aren't having to pay for the child care for them. So that's just a few of the programs that we're doing. Also at the district level, we have our first meeting tomorrow night, first board meeting down at the district. They're always the second and fourth Tuesday at 5 o'clock, whoever wants to come. I was actually voted president, so starting tomorrow, I will be running the meetings for the next year, so that will be an interesting challenge, so I'm looking forward to that. And we have a new superintendent within the last year. We have 2 brand new board members. I've been in for about 2 years, so we have a really new board and new staff as well. So we are also putting in place what's called a student outcomes focused governance program, where we're going to bring in, we're going to work together and try to really focus on student outcomes and get to know each other better. What are board members' responsibilities? What aren't their responsibilities? Because with all the stuff swirling around, as you know, in the media about schools, we're really trying to focus on student outcomes and not all the other stuff that's going on. So we're hoping that this training workshop will help us be able to do that and work together more cohesively as a group. So that'll be one of my big goals this year as president. And there's a lot more going on. Oh, I also went to a gun violence and student safety workshop that was put on by the county at the Creative Performing Arts High School. And that was really good. We're trying to partner more with the county, and there's a lot going on with site improvement in the district. And all the schools, if you've been to school lately, you actually have to get buzzed in to get to the front desk. There's a lot more safety protocols, and also just the site improvements that they've been put in place for schools. So that's all going on as well. It's kind of ongoing conversation, ongoing improvements. I think I'll stop there. There's a lot more going on than that, but I'll end there. Does anyone have any questions about what's going on with our schools? Yes?
Are any schools up for sale?
Any schools up for sale?
Are they closing any of them?
Not that I know of right now. No.
Like, I get that thing they have in the library tells you rates all the schools in the county. And I look at some of those schools and, like 200, maybe 200 kids, 300 kids.
Yeah, there are some of those,
Quite a few of them.
Yeah, I know. There are some of the smaller schools. Actually, not so much in the city. There are a few in the county, we have 42 school districts in San Diego County. So San Diego has a huge number, and we are by far the largest. So there are a lot out there. When you talk about Julian and some of the others.
Center Unified has about, what, 200 campuses? From grade school.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
They also, if you to keep in mind too, though, we also have charter schools. So sometimes if a school is lower, they actually share. They'll share. So let's say in Claremont, there's some smaller schools, but they actually share some of their space with charter schools, or they utilize that space for district offices and things like that. So there is things that have been being done with some of those spaces, but there are some smaller schools. But for the most part, our schools are pretty, they're pretty well attended.
Maybe 150, 180 kids at Cadman over in Claremont, or up in a lot.
Yeah, that's probably like one of the smallest in the entire district. Cadman is definitely. Yeah, I know I've asked about that before, but I guess financially it would cost more to actually, not have the school than it would have it because of there's so much going on at the district with, buying and selling real estate, and that's a whole talk in itself.
Okay. Any other questions for Sabrina? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along, Mayor Todd Gloria. Michaela Vault. Is Michaela here? Not here tonight. Okay. How about, the next one is County Supervisor Tara Lawson-Reamer, and at the time I did the schedule, I didn't know which of two staff members would be here. Rachel Beck emailed me back that she had been planning to be here tonight. However, she has something in common with Barry Vaz. She had a knee injury and she had to leave the office early today. So she emailed me her report, and there's some very interesting things in the report. I forwarded it to Jeff, and she says that she has attached the office updates to the email. In addition to those updates, the office is excited to have a table at the Pet Festival that's coming up, and so she's looking forward to that. Also, something that the Town Council Board knew was in the works, Tara Lawson-Reamer's office is going to be hosting a meet and greet with the supervisor in Mira Mesa at the Mira Mesa Senior Center on Thursday, February 9th at 6 p.m. And that's an event which is open to all and is being co-hosted by MMTC. So that is taking place Thursday, February 9th at the Senior Center. And additionally, there was a constituent at the December MMTC meeting who inquired about resources for San Diego seniors who are feeling isolated. There are some resources that were passed along, and those will all be in the minutes of the meeting and on the website. Various things, various links. I won't rattle that all off. Oasis and the San Diego Community College continuing ed classes is something that's among those mentioned. And the Ride Well to Age Well guide can be a help guiding a bride to go to these programs. Rachel says she looks forward to attending our meetings and will be at the next one in person. I didn't already forward that to you. Yeah. Okay. Then after that, we have, the next one is State Senator Brian Jones, Mark Schaefer, who I know is here.
I am here. Hi. My name is Mark Schaefer, District Representative for Senator Brian Jones. As you're aware, as talking about redistricting and everything changing around, the senator was representing the 38th district, and in the redistricting, they gave the senator a new member, and he was elected to represent the 40th district. And I use a geographic 3 points because it's kind of like a blob of a triangle through the heart of the county. So it's Pine Valley is the 1 point in the east to University City in the west, and the north part is Fallbrook. So if you draw that triangle, that's going to cover the senator's district, roughly about 1 million constituents. There's 40 million in the state, 40 senators, so each get 1 million constituents to represent. So they were sworn in last month to the new session of the Senate. And in conjunction, the senator was elected the minority leader for the Republicans there for the opposition. San Diego County is blessed, I guess you'd say, is that conversely, the majority leader is Senator Tony Atkins, also from San Diego County. So we have 2 San Diegans leading both parties in the legislature. And in spite of everything, it was a really easy election. Nobody was trying to run against it, take 10 votes. It was like one and done. So he was very proud of them. Today he announced the rest of his leadership team in that Senator Janet Wynn from Orange County will be the caucus chair, his previous role in the caucus. And then Shannon Grove and Senator Grove and Senator Ochoa Bogue from Inland Empire and Kern County will be on the Rules Committee. So the leadership for them has been set up. Also, starting the session, there was an extraordinary session, which you have a regular session, and when there are certain special issues come up, they create extraordinary sessions, which the governor requested. And so the first extraordinary session is regarding gas prices or oil companies. The senator introduced in that extraordinary session, in addition to the other side's bill, was a bill for a tax holiday for the gas tax for 1 year. He had introduced it in the last legislature and introduced it again. He also introduced in the beginning of the session is SB 31, which is a homelessness bill that is going to give tools in removing encampments with support services of homeless from sensitive areas like parks, churches, schools, where you have encampments near these areas where families are gathering, and I'm sure there's been parks that you go there and there might be encampment nearby, and we'll give further tools for local jurisdictions to remove those encampments and enforce that. So that the rest of the senator's legislative package will be coming up in the next month or so. If you have any suggestions for legislation or anything, please contact our office. We actually have a form. We did receive requests. I'm not saying this is something we're going to introduce, but one of the planning groups approached our office with some legislation regarding meeting rules and Brown Act stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that the senator and his staff can see if we can fit it in, or if there are other senators doing similar legislation. So offer that up to you. With that, also, our district office, right now we're in the old district office. We're likely going to be moving up into this area in the next month or so. I'm going to say Mira Mesa, Scripps Ranch, maybe as far north as Carmel Mountain Ranch, but the senator's really focused on trying to find office space in this area. It's kind of centrally located, 15 corridor, easy access to those 3 points that I talked about. So hopefully going to be here. Then our office, when we are functioning here, we will have internships available for high school students up to senior citizens. I'll kind of we have a flyer that's getting developed for that, and I'll bring that in the next. So anybody who might be interested in either Miramar or Mira Mesa High, or if you're interested in putting a few hours and want to learn something about the process or just how we communicate with constituents, come on, join us. With that, we can offer help in our office. Lori Brown has been working as on casework management and directing that for probably 12, 14 years with the senator and the previous elected. We can help with DMV, EDD, any state agency that you have an issue with. Give our office a call. During the pandemic, our office handled about 2,500 plus EDD cases where the EDD had basically ceased to function as an agency, and no one was able to communicate with them. I can say I was not working for a brief period, and I can speak to that frustration. So we were effectively able to help people who were unemployed during the pandemic and getting access to their unemployment insurance and benefits. So even they say, well, what can you do? We can do a lot. Then I have a couple kind of interest. The Real ID Act, we have noticed from DMV that it's been extended to May 7th, 2025, from finding the U.S. the deadline. Still, which says people aren't getting to the DMV. Our office can help with that too. We can help get those appointments set up for you. Once again, I work for the senator, but I've also utilized constituent services with the senator. I needed to get my ID renewed, worked with Lori in our office, and she was very efficiently. I was down there in 2 seconds. It took me 15 minutes. So if you're frustrated, call our office. We can help. Also, what we have here, we have an unclaimed property program that we can assist with. I'm sure many of you heard about. How many of you heard of unclaimed property with the state of California? So there, if you had a job that didn't pay you out on your vacation time, or somebody owes you money and they couldn't find you, they register that with the state, and now you have to maybe fill out some paperwork and reclaim that. Again, this is something I've used. I found $850 that was owed to me from like 10 years ago. Our office, because sometimes that paperwork can be difficult, will help you out with that too. And then this is more of an offer to the town council. One of the programs the senator is beginning to do with the district, new areas in the district and everything. We have 2 seminars that with state agencies that we will be offering. One is the CHP, California Highway Patrol, Live Well, Drive Smart. It's about an hour seminar where they'll go over different strategies that senior citizens can make to become safer drivers into older age and smarter drivers. I've gone through this. It's actually good if you want to learn how to drive better, how to avoid making bad decisions. But if you're over, I think it's 65 and over, there are a number of insurance companies will offer a discount to your insurance for car insurance. You know, if you have USA, United Services, they are one of the companies that does offer a discount if you complete this seminar course with CHP. We did one up in San Marcos right at the end of last year. So. And we very well attended. The other one is this, and once again, both these they're called senior targeted programs, but the next one is senior scam stoppers, which is actually really, once again, good for the average person to attend. This one we have Department of Insurance, Contractor State License Board, and I can't remember the third agency. 3 or 4 agencies will come in. That one's a little longer, about an hour and a half. And they will tell you what to look for, what issues to have, who to contact. If you're doing here in Mira Mesa, and with everything going on, people will often do some remodeling, and you'll have a contractor issue. Give you tools to make sure you're finding the right person and what you can do should things not go well. So that has been really, we did that one in Escondido again in November this past year, and it was well attended. So looking maybe to partner with the town council on one of these events, working with senior center, whatever it may be, offering that up in the future. So, I know that's a lot, but this is my first time coming to say thank you.
We welcome you.
So,
thank you very much.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know.
Just to give us your home phone number.
I honestly, because just the efficiency of an office, because with the senator's office, I'm really focused on the outreach side, so I'm often not in the office, or we have a satellite office in Escondido. If you need my cell phone, I give it out. I said, you can at least text me. I can't guarantee I'll answer outside certain hours, but I will answer you once I get into the right hours, of course. So, I know, if you want to write it down, because I use it as my work phone.
We know how to get a hold of it.
All right. I'm going to give it to you if you want. It's 858-880-5653. Just tell me who you are.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. This is fun because we are welcoming new representatives, and we enjoy getting to know you. Next on the agenda, in fact, for State Assemblyman Chris Ward, Mickey Holmes.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. You pronounced my name right.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mickey Holmes, and I am your district representative for the office of Assembly Member Chris Ward. As has been mentioned, the district lines have changed, so you're not part of the 78th Assembly District, and Assembly Member Ward is your representative in the State Assembly. And I have a couple updates from Sacramento. First, we are proud to announce that Assembly Member Ward has been appointed as Speaker Pro Tempore of the Assembly. So if you ever tune into a legislative session on TV, he'll be the one up on the dais using the gavel, calling all the shots. So we're very happy to have that. And then, in addition to what my colleague said, if you have any issues with the DMV, if you have a business and you need help with the ABC, EDD, any of those state entities, please go ahead and reach out. As well as if you have not received your middle class tax rebate yet, that is the tax. Yes, it's been a bit of a pain, but I'm very happy to help. I've become very well versed at talking to FTV to try to help people get their rebates. So let me know if you haven't gotten yours yet. I have cards here, and I can help you get a hold of that. And that's it for me today. If anyone has any questions?
Let's see, what you feel like Mark said in terms of shape of the district, so we can get a sense of our new district.
So y'all are the northernmost part of the district. Okay. We go west to the 5, so we have Claremont, we have I was going to say Silicon Valley, Sorrento Valley, and then we go south to the 94, basically. Wow. And then we follow like the 125. The farthest east we go, if you know where Grossmont College is in El Cajon, that's the...
We go further. Our current district office, which is just around Parkway Plaza.
Oh, yes, right, same
is in the new assembly district.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes, and so nice to meet you all. I really look forward to working with you. And please reach out if you have any questions or concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, can I ask one thing of both of our reps here? So I actually brought up the issue with the Brown Act.
Yes.
The Brown Act was written pre-Zoom, and it's really archaic in a lot of ways. One of the things is that something like Zoom was never thought about when they built it, and it effectively prohibits it. So, you consider something like a community planners committee meeting where you have representatives from all over the city. They all have to drive downtown, polluting the air.
I can speak. The Brown Act, and this is my personal story. I grew up in Merced County, California, where that was the impetus for the Brown Act. City of Gustine, basically city council was meeting in a restaurant before every council meeting, making all their decisions. Assembly member Ralph Brown represented the area, and that was his reaction to these local jurisdictions basically having pre-meetings. So we were approached on this during the pandemic. There were some rules allowing the planning groups to use hybrid Zoom meetings or live, but had that possibility. And Scripps Ranch Planning Group approached the senator on a legislative idea. Now there may be other legislators throughout the state that might be introducing similar stuff. So if we don't necessarily author it, we might look at other legislation that might allow that. But once the pandemic state of emergency ends end of February, I know all the old rules are supposed to come back into effect, but and I'm going to ask if you've heard. I've heard that there might be some changes or exceptions or not, but at least for the pandemic state of emergency, the plan is that come March 1, everything goes back to pre.
One of the two good things about something like a pandemic is you learn new ways of doing things. We don't have to just stop doing what it is.
Send us a note if you haven't been.
I have.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, U.S. Congressperson Sarah Jacobs. I don't think we have a rep from her office here tonight. San Diego Community College District Board Member Bernie Reinerson isn't here this evening. Let's see. What? We are now to open forum, and the open forum sign-up has been in back. I know we have one on it. Is there anybody else who signed up? Somebody want to bring that up to me if there is? Or is it just Tech Festival? Just number one?
And Sabrina.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. That's for anybody who is new to our meetings. We always have a sign-up list at the back for open forum, and then people can talk about things that are not on the agenda otherwise. And I invited a presentation by the San Diego Tech Festival that's coming up, and I think Dennis is here, so come on up. And Alex, if you want to come up too, because we know our own Alex Wynn is very active with Tech Festival too. So.
I think you brought my name. I did not like you.
I thought you had the section. I knew you'd be here. Thank you.
So my name's Dennis. I'm this year's director for the Vietnamese New Year Festival, the Tech Festival, Mira Mesa. It's happening on January 27th to the 29th. On the 27th is a Friday, so it'll be in the afternoon at 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We have live music. On Saturday we'll have the Miss Vietnam pageant, and also Golden Boys, step-up dance. The whole program is free, so it's for our community. I grew up in Mira Mesa as well, so this is something that is very important. We're very happy to bring it to this community.
No, but since I have the floor, because of redistricting, I have no idea who is the representative anymore, so I'm so glad he is here, because we usually invite the elected officials to be part of the opening ceremony, which is on the 28th. Saturday.
That makes it a little easier.
Huh?
I said that makes it a little easier.
It's a Saturday, and from noon until 1 p.m. I believe the speaking portion is at 12:30. The ceremony portion is at noon, and then of course at the end we take some unsuspecting representative never been to our festival before to press the button and get the crap scared out of them.
Oh, please let me be my boss.
And you get to hit our money.
Yes.
That works.
There'll be line dance performances, taiko drums, and
musical acts, and yes, Bruce.
Where is the location for the Tech Festival?
Oh, yes.
so it'll be at the park behind the library, Mira Mesa Park. So we'll take over Mira Mesa Community Park, and it's just right behind the library actually. And so it'll take up the whole field over there. We'll have carnival there as well, lots of food. Vendors are appearing. I think this year we have 18 or so food vendors.
No, we have 22 food vendors.
So we upped it since last year. We're trying something new. Maybe try swing this towards more of a food night market. So just come out and enjoy.
It sounds wonderful. There will be a Mira Mesa Town Council booth at Tech Festival. We are recruiting volunteers who would like to help at the booth, and Yvonne is going to be our one doing the schedule, right, Yvonne?
Sign-up sheet, love to have you.
And so if you want to talk to her at the end of the meeting today, feel free, and she will be in touch. I'm normally very involved with it. Jeff and I will be out of town that weekend, unfortunately, so won't be there in person. But I have a question for you. Are you doing T-shirts this year? Because I know some years there has been a Tech Festival T-shirt that's available for sale as a souvenir to the public. And if there were T-shirts that could be pre-ordered on the website, I'd be happy to pre-order one as a souvenir. I'd love to have a Year of the Cat Tech Festival T-shirt, or even a Year of the Cat and Rabbit, because I love that combination. And for those of you who don't know, this is a very special new year that starts January 22nd, 2023 and goes until February 4th, 2024, if I researched right on the internet.
I believe it's February 10th, 2024.
Maybe, yeah. The other end I didn't research totally, but in any case, because of the Chinese zodiac, it's year of the rabbit. Vietnamese zodiac, it's year of the cat. It depends on which animal actually made it across the river and got blessed by the Buddha King and is one of the 12 years cycle. And I love it that each country has a slightly different mythological story for that, and the cat and the rabbit.
There is an anthropological reason for that as well, so we want to find out, go to the festival, and Dennis will tell you all about it.
Awesome. Yeah, there is a sociological, cultural reason too.
Yes.
That's.
And if you do come to the festival, Dustin will be there and he'll be speaking in full Vietnamese on stage.
Sounds wonderful. And will you have the cultural village again like in past years? And it's fabulous. It's not just a lot of food and fun, but it is a great cultural experience and entertainment. And yeah, thank you very much.
And of course, we do have some surprises, which for fear of chasing things, because it's being shipped all the way from Utah, we're not going to say it yet.
Oh.
There's something new that we're bringing to the festival this year. So hopefully see you all.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, and let's see, other open forum?
It's all Sabrina.
Is that?
It's all Sabrina signing off.
Oh, sorry.
Sabrina? Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling him I just wanted to bring up, because I've been noticing these last couple meetings I've been at, because I go to a lot of town council meetings now. I don't have to go, but I like to go to town council meetings for the areas I represent. And I'm not putting this on Yvonne at all, because I know Yvonne well. We've been friends for a long time, and she's the attendance, or the membership person. I think it's more a responsibility for all the members that are here. But I just like to try to see more people here. And not only more people, but, you know, some younger people, some, and, you know, and create different ethnicities. And that's just a little bit more broader representation of our actual, where we live. But I don't know, I mean, I'd be happy to be part of a brainstorming session. It just seems like since COVID, it dropped off a lot. I feel like we used to have better attendance, and I don't know why that is that we're not. But it's something that I just noticed, and I'm, you know, being a Mira Mesa resident myself, it's concerning because I know we do valuable work, and we you know, I think there's people that we could get involved. And I don't have all the answers either, but I just wanted to put that out there and see if.
We have discussions of that every year for 4 years, we still haven't been involved with this.
Yeah, I know.
And if you have new good ideas.
Yeah.
This is tough to get younger people involved. I'm not really sure why. Culture's different, I think. But,
Yeah.
you know,
I have seen in other town councils they had more. Claremont has a lot of younger, younger meaning like, you know.
30s.
Oh, yeah, like 30s, 40s, yeah. You see, they have older, well, they just have more people. I don't know, I just, you know, I'm competitive. I want my race to be.
You want Mira Mesa.
The best, right? And of course we are the best, but I just would like to see more people.
Big retail also.
Mark.
The best system that was ever done was Bruce Brown, and his opinion was that you have to gourd their ox. You have to raise their taxes, you have to piss them off. She's not even paying attention to the meetings.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah. In other words, when people are angry about something, they turn out for meetings. Yes,
That is true. You're not wrong about that. Yeah, that meeting about the bites, what was on Zoom. The bites movement.
We've had large attendance. We actually had quite a few of our Zoom meetings during the 2 years of the pandemic were very well-attended Zoom meetings. In person, we're actually still in the infancy of our return to in-person. Our first in-person meeting was last June for the scholarship winners. We had been meeting totally via Zoom up until then. Then we went back to Zoom for August. We don't do a July meeting, but because of, various, both COVID surge and weather was extremely hot, which made it hard to meet in an enclosed room, so we made that Zoom. Then we were back to in-person for our October, I think was when we returned to in-person, November, January, here we are. November, December, so this is about our fourth in-person one since, and I think this is a sort of an off week because, the New Year's holiday was our regular meeting when people were used to it, so I look forward to about it.
I have something that works in other areas.
Yeah, I can ask, around when I'm at, I can ask when I'm at some of the other town council meetings, I just kind of observe.
Yeah, observe ways to do it. I think an each one bring one is a good idea. Every single member bring in a friend who's not a member.
Yeah.
I think working with the school communities is something that has done it in Mira Mesa in the past too, when we've really done a lot of outreach to schools, and those are the meetings that parents get their kids to, etc. When we have scout troops doing a flag ceremony, we often have some staying for the rest of the meeting too, which is fun. It's hard for the younger members that often have kids to, juggle going around. I can remember the days when we used to have to get babysitters for going to town council, etc.
Maybe having someone doing a school kids from a school group coming to present something, I don't know, then you get the parents here and they might stay a little longer,
Right. All of those are good ideas, so I appreciate your concern, and that's a good plan. Let's see, that actually moves us rather nicely into our closing town council committee reports. First one is our treasurer's report. Jonathan.
Good evening. So we finished our year. We started out with 68,000 at the beginning of the year, and we're down to 63. Kind of break even on the street fair. Volunteer of the year, we do need more people come to volunteer of the year. And also we need more contributions to the scholarships, because we're a little short on that. And more members. So if we can get more members, that'll help us also. Because it costs us about $6,000 for insurance and administrative costs every year. So we want to be able to cover that. So this year we're down to, we went from 68 to about 63,000. And I've got the preliminary budget, and we'll work on that. We should present that maybe in February or March for approval. Any questions? Anything? Thank you.
Thank you. And I already talked a little bit about item B, the town council booth at Tech Festival. And again, that is an opportunity to do outreach and recruit new members then and there. I think we'll do the same thing that we did at the street fair, have a spinning wheel for, little prize type thing, and really see if that's something that we can help recruit members. And Banner District, I don't see Jennifer Qualvik here tonight, but she's the one who's the chair of our Banner District Committee, so she'll probably have a report for next month. Yvonne, we're down to membership. And any other words of membership? Where are we at right now?
Well, I just today found out that we have 44 of our members that renewed for 2023. We have about 46 that I'm going to have to start knocking on their door that did not renew. So I'd love to meet with you and we could talk about how we can build up the membership. Maybe you can help me. I started a letter. Maybe you can take a look at it and put a little spin on it. Yeah. It'd be great if we could give our members incentive to join. I always think about giving them a t-shirt when they join or giving them something that shows that they're a member, but let's talk about it. We got a budget.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. And with that, we are to call this meeting adjourned.